You are listening to CMH EPC's Mocktail Hour Podcast. We host a Mocktail Hour once a month where we discuss various topics over cocktails. And for those who don't drink alcohol, mocktails. We are inclusive over here. Sip your favorite cocktail with us or try our featured cocktail as we dialogue. This is an environment to hear new and different perspectives. Everyone's thoughts, feelings, and opinions are valid to them, and in this space, we respect that. I would like to take a moment of appreciation for our guests today who have attended our monthly Mocktail Hour and are now here to share their thoughts and opinions with us. We have a number of topics to discuss. You never know what new perspectives you may hear. Today, we have returning guests to the podcast. Welcome back, guys. We got Nicole. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Nicole is a passionate educational leader for one of the largest school districts in the nation and a firstborn American of Panamanian and Nigerian descent. Nicole has been an advocate for children and youth for over 20 years and believes everyone deserves the opportunity to grow and be loved. When she is not working, which is a lot, you'll typically find her booking a flight anywhere, hanging with family, dancing to Afrobeat somewhere, and enjoying being a newlywed. Yeah.
Okay.
We also have Twin, who is a manager of operations for one of the largest Fortune 500 transportation and logistics companies. That is a mouthful. She is the only Black female manager of operations for her company in both the central and southern regions. Twin was born near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. She's a diehard Steelers fan and has now lived in Houston for 24 years. She graduated from the University of Houston with her bachelor's degree and later received her MBA in project management. Welcome, you guys.
Thank you for having us again.
Yay, I'm so excited.
It's always good seeing you, Nico.
Yes, indeed.
Welcome
back.
Boom, boom, boom. This is going to be interesting. So for our featured cocktail today, this month I am taking it back to Scott Gertner's Sky Bar, the one off of Montrose.
Oh my.
Do we remember that?
I do.
The elevator.
The elevator.
The elevator. Wow.
So I used to be there every Friday, okay? We had a favorite bartender there who created a cocktail for us, and I was randomly craving it last week. And so there isn't a name for it, but I feel like we should just call it like Sky Bar because it's blue and it reminds me of the sky. So there's also that. So it is Absolute Citron, Hypnotic, and a triple sec. So take a sip. Let me know what you think.
Yes, she did say hypnotic. We're back.
We're back, okay?
We're back.
So I'm sipping and thinking about the live music, the view from the top floor, the long elevator ride, and the memories my bestie and I made there back in the day. I wish we had something like that again. Like, I miss those live music days. I mean, I'm sure they're still around the city, but it's not the same,
not the same vibe. Everything is a little bit different.
A little bit different.
The signs of the times.
The sign of the times. But the fact that we all remember Sky Bar, it makes me feel old.
No. Unless someone says, what is that? Then I go.
We old together.
Yeah. Collectively old.
What do you mean? What is that? It's a whole residential high rise.
And then trying to explain it to them, they're like,
not
what?
there anymore.
Yeah. It's like trying to tell somebody what T-Town is. Just let it go.
Lord. So let me just say that my first time going to T-Town was the last time because I think they closed like the next weekend.
Shut up. Now
so,
I feel old.
I had heard about it, like I kept hearing about it, finally with my sister and her friends, and then like it was my first and only time, and I was like, what the heck?
I just want to put it out there that we need a T-Town reunion because there's just so many memories that I cannot contain.
T-Town, Metropolis. Metropolis is still there though.
Metropolis,
is it?
Incog?
It's still there.
Coco Loco. Remember that?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I used to get my life on a Coco Loco dance floor. Okay?
Back when it used to be called Rehab, and then it was Pink Monkey, and then whatever it's called now.
Wait, Pink Monkey downtown?
Yeah, it used to be called Rehab.
Oh my God, y'all taking me back. Oh, the good old days. Where do we go now? Where do I go now? I don't know. I just follow my DJs around.
To work.
To work.
Wait, is there no balance of like work and fun? Is your fun sleeping?
And chores.
I be sleeping.
Oh,
listen,
sleeping is fun though. Don't get it twisted.
Especially when you have a good bed. Invest in that mattress.
Yeah, man.
Those
Lesson
midday
number
naps.
19.
If you can catch a midday nap, you are like
don't play with it.
Golden.
A midday nap on the couch. Those are like it's like the best sleep ever.
I feel like it is. Even though it's like 30 minutes, it feels like it's hours of fun.
Refresh.
No, mine are hours.
Oh, so you're just asleep.
She just sleeps.
And then I send that text saying, "My bad, y'all."
Yeah, she be like, "I'm gonna take a nap." She ain't coming.
She's not coming. What had happened was.
This is where we are now, and that's fine. Like I am fine with rolling with the times. Did I rhyme? I did.
Come on,
Okay,
dropping bars.
We're back.
We're dropping bars.
Oh my God.
For the holiday weekend.
Hey.
Yes, come on, National Day off. All right. Would you rather be in like or in love?
Oh, in love.
Definitely in love. And like is exhausting because it's not real.
Liking somebody is not real?
That's just like the
Well,
superficial representative.
It is, because when you're in like, you have so many gray areas because you don't have to commit necessarily.
Yes, that part.
If you're both in like, this like leaves that window of opportunity for someone else to be in like with her as well. So to be in love doesn't mean it's gonna eliminate the possibility of commitment, but it just feels stronger and it feels more of a commitment and an attachment, I guess.
And with like, you're picking and choosing what you like and holding on to that. With love, I feel like it's a holistic thing. Like, no one is perfect, right? But with like, you're like, oh, I like that you do this for me. I like this one thing. No, love, I'm taking it all in. So to me, I'd rather be taken all in than picked apart. Because no, I'm definitely not perfect.
I like that.
None of us are. I mean, as somebody who's never been in love romantically with somebody, you know, you have to like them before you love them. But
True.
but also, yes, I've only ever been in like, never in love.
Have you ever pushed through while you're in like? Have you ever pushed through a space where it's like, I don't like this about you, but I'm okay with taking you on, like, because they're not gonna be perfect, but they may have like two things that irk the crap out of you, right? Just curious. So then you may have been at the beginning, like opening the front door to love, and something happened.
I mean, I loved my ex, but I wasn't in love with her.
Shit, that can happen all throughout. All right, okay.
Yeah. What does it take to make you block someone? Have you ever blocked someone? Have you ever had to block someone?
Yes, I have blocked people, but I typically only block exes. Only because you had that opportunity to have a full, window to everything that's going on with me, and now I don't want the temptation for you to feel like you have any kind of opinions that you want to just slip in there. Or can we just be protecting my peace? Like, I don't want you on my timeline, so therefore I'm gonna block you. I'm gonna, unfriend you. All this. I just don't. Your name. Let's just cleanse. Let's just do a full cleanse.
I get that.
Yeah.
I think I've only blocked maybe a handful of people. One specifically, because this person all of a sudden moved from one state and popped up in Houston and was like, I'm in Houston, bitch. And I was like, oh, let me go and hit this good old block. Where do I even find it? Like, she was the first person I blocked because it was just so random. And I was like,
it was strategic as hell.
It was strategic. But for me, we just won't speak of that young lady anymore.
We won't. But let me tell you, she still pops up on my Tinder, and I'll be like, what the fuck? Why is she?
Why don't you block her? You should block her too. How about that?
I mean, it's Tinder. I know how to do that.
So I have a follow-up question then. If you had like a crazy ex, would you ask your friends to block them too? Because sometimes you'll be hanging out with friends, minding your own business, and they're already blocked on your page, but they may have a window to your life through your friend's page.
Bless you.
So would you ask your friends to say, hey, I need everyone to cut all ties, or would you kind of just let it be?
Absolutely. Like, listen, if it's about your peace, absolutely. Like, if it's a situation where, like, they need to be blocked, like, for real, like, yeah, absolutely. I would do that for my friend. But also, I don't follow my friends, like, people unless they've been together for, like, a year or two, or, like, I have a relationship with them myself. Otherwise, I don't follow them.
Well, I'm that friend.
Things.
I'm definitely that friend. If you're blocking them, I don't rock with you anymore. I don't, because 9 times out of 10, if it's my friend and they're breaking up with their ex and they blocked them, I only met them through my friend. So what relationship is worth more to me, my friend's relationship or still holding on to a relationship that I may have just started to grow?
I agree with you both on that one. I just know I've experienced where I prefer for someone to be blocked on everyone's page, and I have to respect folks who choose not to do that, and that's fine. But then it also comes into a weird space where something great will happen in my life, and then they'll find out through that person's page and do something malicious just on purpose. And that was like, and see, that's the reason why you should unfriend them. But, And it's unfortunate. I feel like sometimes we have to wait until people show their true colors to them before they believe you, saying, hey, just,
Yeah.
it's not worth it. Let it go.
If my friends are like, block that bitch, I'll be like, I got you. I have never been one, I've never had to block anybody up until I met somebody on fucking Tinder, and she was like legit crazy. And I was like, oh no, block.
Damn.
So yeah, but normally there's no reason to block anybody for me.
Or in those times that people are unbalanced AF.
And they're showing it. Like, it's one thing to be like unbalanced and like try to hold your shit together in public, but like in real life,
they don't care.
Like, they don't care. They just be like, here, I'm here. But what, you out here dating
crazy
people
as hell.
And you crazy
as hell.
Listen. And that's why I'm happily single, because people are crazy.
Yeah.
Do you have daddy issues?
Daddy
I don't even
issues.
really know what that means.
I would say, what does that fully mean?
But my dad wasn't part of my life, so I'm going to say no.
But that may have still caused things in your life
Nah.
to resonate, certainly, in certain ways.
Nope.
Well, I will say
Not
this.
for me.
I think that you believe that it has not. So, because, my dad passed away. So, and one thing I did say to my sister prior to that happening was, if my dad were to pass, it would feel as though it was like, I'd be sad because he's my dad.
Mm-hmm.
But it would just be like, almost like a friend situation, because we didn't have that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do regret was I took on his stubbornness and wasn't able to build that relationship in spite of, because I felt that he needed to reach out to me and he felt that that I needed to reach out to him. So that inherited trait that I did take from him kind of hindered our relationship, and now I don't have it. So I don't believe I have daddy issues necessarily, but when I have been to therapy, I have realized that there were instances or situations that I broke down, all relating towards that relationship. So you may not think it, but it's like those connections. It's like it intertwines those, almost like a maze, right? And it always leads back to one thing, and it may be that. So you might need to kind of dive into it. And it hurts. It was painful. Like, it was a painful time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, in order for you to release certain things, you have to have a professional. And you can't work out on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm an advocate now. I mean, when we were growing up, I don't know. I mean, I'm probably the oldest one here, but when I was growing up, that was like a taboo. You don't go see a shrink because that means you're crazy, right? But if our parents would have had the same chances that we have to go seek therapy, we're like 2 generations in when, their parents actually raised them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that's the first time. Like, everything else was just like, okay, they were there, but they might be in the field. Like, they didn't give that time. So it's like, what if our parents had that therapy?
Yeah.
So I'm an advocate for therapy. I encourage it. But yeah, there are a lot of traumas that you don't believe that you have until you actually dig deep and try to seek it.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, because my dad came back into my life when I was like 13, but that was only because his sister, my aunt, wanted to meet us. Like, it wasn't him, it was my aunt. And so at that point, I had already I was like, oh, that's my dad. Like, I mean, I know who my mom is and like how she is as my parent, right? And so I'm kind of like expecting that same thing from this guy, and that's not what I got from him. And then just like over the course of my interactions with him, I was like, this is weird, and like, you're not showing me the like parental like things like how my mom is. Like, my mom, she takes care of us, she supports us, like all these things. Like, I didn't get that from this guy, right? And then when I tried to be like, oh well, he's my dad and he should, and then he didn't, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. But then like after we were like 18, 19 years old, he's like, I'm so proud of you. And I'm like, what for? You had nothing to do with this. Like, this is all my mom. You should tell her that you're proud of her, And so for me, it's just like, you're just a guy. Like, you're part of the reason that I'm here, but you're just another guy on earth for me. So yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't think I have daddy issues because
I think everybody has daddy issues per se. I think it just resonates different. Like my dad left and went back to Nigeria when I was 2 something. But I probably would have been bitter growing up if my mom hadn't kept this kind of cloud of positivity around his name and his existence. She also would share stories or kept me like would do things to make sure that I stay rooted in knowing that yes, you are Nigerian, yes, you are Panamanian. So it wasn't necessarily I wasn't able to ignore it, nor did I have any ill feelings at the time. I did grow up wondering, okay, my friends have all these stories, or we would go to like father-daughter dances, and so those kind of things were different for me because my uncles would take me places, right? But I would say maybe in the high school, college days where the expectation is your parents come to your graduation, your parents are supposed to do these things, and so not fully getting the fact that flights are expensive, visas and all that, red tape is a bitch. So the expectation was you should be here, and so I did get bitter as I got older, like you're the adult, you should have come to me kind of thing, and I shouldn't have to do this. But I finally got to a space where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm going to cash it on my little points. And I went to Nigeria, and I definitely don't regret it. It took me up and down to kind of like get the chip off my shoulder, like, you should have did this shit, But then also going there, I also realized a lot of the red tape that they go through. Like, you basically have to like bribe people just to, get things around there. And like, that was ridiculous for me to actually see. He's like, no, I need you to speak because, they treat Americans different than they treat us. And I was like, wait, what? So it was a culture shock to see like a piece of what he had to go through nowadays, probably even worse back then. So that was eye-opening. But the daddy issues part about maybe having long distance relationships and or, my mom's independence and how she really held it down. It wasn't easy, but she held it down on her own. And I think the daddy issues kind of, for me, come into place where it's like I can sometimes be too independent to where it's like allow people to feel wanted, allow people to feel like they have a place in your life where, yeah, it's good to be like, I could do it myself. And not necessarily feeding people's egos of like, I don't need you, I want you. But what does that look like? So I think finding that in a place where I grew up with a woman who held it down in every aspect, it's important to also be able to lean on someone to be vulnerable, know. So it's that balance. So daddy issues, yes, but I don't necessarily look at it as a bad thing all the time. It's just people got issues. Everybody got issues.
That's interesting though, like, having the mom who like did everything is so crazy to me because then it did, like, I feel like I'm hyper independent, like, because of that, right? So it's like, I don't want to have to like ask for help, don't want to have to rely on anybody for anything. But at the same time, I'm like, especially for like my family and my friends, I'd be like, if you need help, I got you, right? Yeah. But we don't know how to ask for help, which is unfortunate. But also, like, for those people, I'm like, but I don't mind and I want to help you because you're my friend or you're my sister or you're my mom, But it's like, maybe that's like the...
Do you feel obligated to help?
No, I want to. Like, if somebody needs help and I'm able to help them, like, I want to be able to help them. But also I know that, like, especially like one of my sisters, like, she doesn't know how to ask for help. And I'm like, sister, like, you do everything for everybody.
Pot and kettle. We literally tried to help her every stage.
Who?
Today.
What? Oh.
Yeah.
Today.
But I have a system. Like, there's a system to the things. And, like, it's like, I got it. I appreciate it. But I got it. But no, I mean, like, help in regards to, like, life shit. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Can you?
Let me go ahead and top you off.
I was going to get that one. Never mind. I was going to take that one. Never mind. But thank you.
But yes, it is hard to ask for one, but I also think that I still think that it's rooted. So I don't think that people don't accept help because they just don't want it. Or
not
there's like
they don't know how to ask.
Yes.
No, not necessarily that. What I'm saying is some people don't necessarily know how to leave it open to truly give what they need. So it's like, how can I help? Not, hey, can I help you grab that? Really, I don't want you breaking it, so I'm gonna say no, but I do want help with this,
Yeah.
Or hey, where can I be of assistance, or whatever the case may be. It might be just stand there and stay out my way. But I also think it's rooted in disappointment. So I'm used to folks saying, you know, I can help, I'll be there, I'll do whatever, and then they don't come through, or they come through in a way where it's like you're doing more harm than you are good. Like, just step aside.
Just go away.
So I think it comes from a space of sometimes trauma of folks not getting it right. So it's going to take work and trust to get people to say, hey, I would prefer you ask me, do I need this? And then I can kind of guide you to what I truly need, and not you just throwing yourself in there saying, I got this. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Well, I mean, that kind of goes, when you mentioned about the disappointment, right? I had to learn that a long time ago, because when you put that same expectations on a person, they're always going to disappoint you, right? And so that kind of goes back to the daddy issues, right? I put that expectation that my dad was supposed to reach out to me, so he always disappointed me when he wouldn't show up, when, you know, I didn't get that phone call, when I see you, you know, I think it was either my freshman or sophomore year, randomly, because you were flying through Houston, and then the next conversation we had, you were asking for money.
Oh, hell.
So it was like those expectations that I had of you diminished when the choices showed otherwise.
Yeah.
Like, to me, as growing up, like, I didn't really think anything of it, because I had my grandfather. My papa was like my all. So I never really thought that I didn't have a male figure in my life, or a father figure in my life, until I was like older, and my friends were like, oh, well, where's your dad? I was like, oh, well, I don't know. You know?
Like, I'm glad you asked.
I believe he's still alive. I would have known if he wasn't. Like, I didn't even know where he lived. And to me, that brought on the resentment in my 20s, because I was like, well, nigga, you didn't even care if we had food on the table. Like, you didn't even care if there was a roof over our head, you know? So I held on to that from my 20s onward, because I never felt that way until college. Like, my friends were talking to me about it. I never even thought about it, because my mom never ever said one bad thing about my father. Ever. So
God bless moms that can protect. Because, you know, it's easy to kind of get in a funk of, like, let bills be due and I'm having to work extra shifts. You can easily just trash talk, you know, the dad that's not there and he can't defend himself, or whatever the case is. But hats off to the one that still protected these individuals despite how they may have felt moment to moment. 'Cause that is not easy
at all. And then you have these children that say, like, maybe that's like where my daddy issues part comes in, because, like, especially like as an adult now, I just can't imagine like creating a life and then like just disappearing. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, you have this responsibility, like, this is a result of your action, and the fact that you're just like, okay, bye. Like, what?
Yeah.
It's a whole human. And then when you start to get older, then all of a sudden it's like, well, my daughter, and it's like, get the fuck out my face. Like, stop it.
Yeah.
Like,
don't
stop
blame
it.
me now.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's a mess. Like, that's, as an adult, is what I don't understand about people who abandon their children. Like, it's not just men that do it, women do it also. I just understand how you just abandon a life that you created from, like, this is the result of your actions. Like, it's so weird to me. So the next question is, do you have mother issues? And we don't hear about that one often.
Y'all.
Do you?
I know.
I just kind of spoke on that a little bit. No, mother issues in a space of, like, I remember when my senior year of high school, my mom was dating her husband now. And I was like, who is this vulnerable, you know, giddy little person? Like, I'm used to, like, laying down the law, get with it, come on. Like, my mom was like she handled the business, right? And so to see her in a passive state, I was triggered. I was like, stop that, you know? So, and then sometimes the expectation of how my mom did things, again, I had 18 years of this is how it should be done, right? And then to have someone else come and do it differently, not wrong or right, but to do it differently, I'm looking at her like, so this what we doing? You know, so even in the absence of a dad, mommy issues to me naturally are part of the thing. It's just parenting, whether you're present or not, it's affecting your kid, period. But yes, mommy issues, hands down. I'm like, I'm not going to be here. And then I'm so her. Ridiculous.
But do we not all say that? Yes. We're not going to be our parents, and then you end up being a parent?
Hey, parent.
Mine's like, where do I start? But I say that, but I love, like, I am a mother's girl, like, through and through. The only issue that my mother and I have, I still call my mom mommy. Like,
Yeah.
whatever I do.
Yeah.
It is because she has not let go of the fact that I'm an adult. And where we should be more mother friend kind of a thing is still mother. And you know, and I told her, like, we recently had our conversation probably like maybe a month ago, because the issue was I didn't go to her church because the pastor was talking about homosexuality and I didn't want to. It was like a whole drawn out situation, right? But the real root of the problem is that I can't have a real conversation with you without it leading back to the Bible. And you believe in that my lifestyle is a choice, which is not. But my lifestyle is really depicting my life. But what I'm trying to tell her is that you should be prideful that you raised 3 girls who all have their degrees, 2 with MBAs. Like, you really did what you were supposed to do. And the fact that you're still holding on to a piece of me that isn't all of me has caused the issues that we have between us. So I will always love my mom to death. She doesn't love me any less. She just does not love the lifestyle that she believes I chose.
That's what took me so long to come out the closet to my mom, because I was like, my sister dated women for a long period of time. So my mom only took her way of living in you know, being a bisexual. She took that as this is what it is and this is how they act. And so I lied for years because I was just like, no, you're not going to, try to shake it out of me, or you're not going to put these assumptions on me. So therefore, I'll wait until I felt like I could prove you wrong. Like, let me show you after I graduated, after I got my own place. Like, I needed to show her that what your stigma or stereotype of as to what this looks like is different for me. And I'm still me. And I chose to lie to her for years, waiting for a time where I could say, see, told you. But
Told you so.
she came around.
She did. Like, do I have mom? I'm sure I do. I don't know what they are. I don't know. I feel like my mom is pretty amazing. She's been supportive of, like, everything that we do. I mean, I guess I could say one thing as an adult, like the last 2 years, I would tell my mom, I was like, you spoiled us, because my mom is an active listener. And so when I talk to people who's not, I'd be like, what's wrong with you? So, like, I'm a little spoiled because when I talk to her, like, she's there and she's present and she's listening and those things. And so, yeah, so I'm like, you spoiled us, and everybody doesn't do that. And I don't know how to handle the world. Just kidding. Yes, I do. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I have any, like, mommy issues per se, because for everything that we've done, like, she's always supported us. She's always let us bump our heads and figure it out. And she's been there, like she'll guide us, but she'll still allow us to, like, do whatever we want to do. And then she'll be there to be like, I told you so, but you didn't listen, but I hope you learned. So yeah,
There might be a topic for the next, like, therapy session, because they're good at pulling things out of you where it's like, I didn't think about that. Dang it, you're good. But it's possibly worth kind of putting the big category out there so they can kind of help you dissect it.
yeah,
Because to me, I like the fact that as we get older, we start, analyzing our lives and our decision making and things like that more. But sometimes it helps to kind of, like, just dig right in there and get a professional to help you sort through some things you didn't even know were up in there.
yeah. That's why I'm like, I can't even think of anything, but I'm sure there is some.
Naturally.
I just don't know. I just don't know what that is. What was the last thing you were internally conflicted about? Internally conflicted.
I don't know.
Mine's always work. Like,
I'm sure it's
Courtney,
all, yeah,
Courtney
everything's always
alluded
gonna
to
be
it, but I work
work-related,
a hell of a lot. Like, dog. But because I am passionate about doing, making change, positive change for kids. But for anyone that knows education, the state of education, it's crazy. It's a madhouse out there. And so for me, I never left the classroom. I'm in administration now. I never left the classroom because I couldn't cut it, or didn't want to. I didn't leave bitter. I left with a purpose, saying I want to make sure that I create more of these spaces for kids and ensure that these educators that are coming into the field are doing what they need to do and do right by kids. And now the caveat to that is when you come out the classroom, you got to deal with adults. And I'm like, So that's been the hard part for me, is like, do you still want to continue to work with these adults that have their own issues they bring into the table? They bring their own baggage and nonsense that's not kid focused. Or do you want to just go back to your one little safe haven and go back to campus? And I toggle often, because again, I didn't leave bitter, so I can always go back and be happy and all those things. But sometimes living in your purpose isn't always everyday happiness, but you will find happiness at the end of like a struggle or a triumph or whatever it is. You'll find that happiness and you're like, man, this is why I do what I do. But that's been my every season struggle of, do I just go back to my classroom and get my summers off again?
Listen, all the holidays, right?
That part.
I mean, I recently had that struggle because my account had closed and I had the option to take a role that was lesser than, but would be more easy, or take a role where I knew was going to be a promotion, which is, I'm fine with promotions, but I'm going to be in a situation to where I'm the only, again.
Yeah.
Not only am I the only female, I'm going to be the only African American, and I still chose it because I know that I can still get through those situations. It's Trump country.
Yeah.
In Conroe. Like, I walked into the building and like there's like 3 or 4 cubicles that had Trump 2024.
Trying to make America white again.
So, and politics aside, it's just the atmosphere that it creates. Right? Whether you vote for Trump, you don't vote for Trump, you vote for Biden, Democrat, it's just the atmosphere that it creates, right? So, I walked in on the first day and I felt like all eyes were on me. And all I did was like, hey, hi, I'm Ty, hey. Like, because I know I'm going to stand out always, right? So my whole navigation process and what I feel I'm going to do at this account is obviously I'm going to shine. They wouldn't put me there.
Come on, kill it.
Right? But it's going to be difficult because I've already felt the judgment walking in the door. Because I don't have the long hair. I'm not wearing feminine.
Just from walking in the door.
I'm not wearing feminine attire, so there's already that stigma on me. But at the end of the day, I had to pay my own bills. And I know that we're going to be a great customer together. You're going to get past the way that I may dress and look at my intellect, because that's why I'm here in the first place. So, yeah.
Come through, shine on.
Come on, shine.
Hey, come on, promotions and whatnot.
Hey.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. Cheers to the promotion.
Cheers to the promotion.
Yes.
Thanks. I mean, I guess I'm still internally conflicted. This is really just about, like, I don't know what to do next in regards to, like, business. So that's my current conflict. But I feel like the answer is, getting a business coach or a mentor and figure out what to do next. That's where I'm at. So, yeah. Well, I want to thank you guys for giving your time today and sharing your thoughts and opinions on the various topics we discussed. To our listeners, grow your community and take a moment to like, subscribe, and or follow our guests on their respective platforms. If they want to tell you where to follow them, they can. If they don't, they can also do that too. So this is your time, friends.
Only kids are following me to the classroom for educational purposes.
Come on.
There's no following here. Off the grid.
None of it.
You can follow me at twin on Instagram. That's it.
It's a lot of
Friday
W's and
reference.
N's in there.
Figure it out.
If you can't find you're bad.
You're bad.
Your detective skills
Do
are
better.
not that great.
Do better.
There are 2 of us, so watch out.
Wait, is she on Instagram?
She does.
Oh. And if you would like to meet us in person for our Mocktail Hour, we host every last Sunday of the month. You can find details on www.cmhepc.com/register to find out details and to save your seat. And hopefully we'll see you then.